Ooh, I'm having fun. Are you having fun? All right, ready for the next speaker, Marie McNamara.
Oh, I couldn't see it. The slides aren't advancing on my end. But I'm here to talk about climate finance because doing implies dollars. So I'm going to speak about what climate finance is, why it matters, and how to increase investment in climate-aligned projects. So let's get to it. Climate finance is money that funds mitigation or adaptation. Mitigation is activities that reduce greenhouse gas emissions, while adaptation is preserving ecosystems and promoting resilience. So in terms of what we need to do, we need to invest in a clean economy, and this requires building things, which requires money. We need 7.4 trillion US dollars annually through 2030 to meet our climate targets. While this is a lofty goal, it's highly achievable. There's already 1.4 trillion dollars going to fossil fuel subsidies annually alone. So that's a big chunk. So when looking at the climate finance landscape, you need to think about who, what, and where. So let's get to the who. Who is public or private finance? Public finance is governments, philanthropies, and entities like the World Bank. And private finance is corporates and banks. And we really need to mobilize their money. So what do you need to fund? You need to fund clean energy projects, electric mobility that works for communities, reforestation, and mangrove preservation, to name a few. And where do you need to invest? There's a huge investment gap in low and middle income countries, which are located in the purple in this graph. They're at an inflection point. They can power their development on clean energy if we provide the investment needed. So in terms of a solution pathway, it's helpful to start with an analogy. The global economy can be thought of as a bathtub. You need to increase clean flows of water or capital investment into this economy. You need to gradually turn down the investments in pollution-based assets, and you need to pull the plug on fossil. So, to chart this solution pathway, I think it's important to dispel a few myths. The first is that climate finance is all math. Embedded in the numbers is bias, and who perceives risk matters. The second is that bankers' perception is the most valuable, when in reality it's communities. And the last is that finance is inherently complex. Actually speaking clearly drives the most change. So let's get into each of these. In terms of who evaluates risks, this is a really important question to ask because their world framework will shape things. Often, new projects and projects in low and middle income countries are inherently considered more risky, and transparency is needed in how we're evaluating these risks. Next is we need more seats at the table. Oftentimes, bankers' perception is considered the most important. But really, we need more community practitioners and community members that know their needs. We also need to acknowledge that not every solution is going to look Western, despite 56% of capital, global capital, being held in Europe and the United States alone. We need innovation and creativity, and this is driven at the local level. We then need to speak clearly. There's a ton of jargon within finance, and there's an opportunity to say exactly what you mean. So I'm going to dive into two buzzwords that are treated like silver bullet solutions because these concepts will not drive change unless you define these things and reach a shared understanding. The first is blended finance. This is basically the use of public capital to take on more risk and to drive private sector investment because private sector investment represents 90% of global capital. The next is project pipelines. Banks want multi-million-dollar deals, and small projects are hard to finance. So you need to aggregate. You need to bundle projects that are similar so you can analyze the costs and revenues and invest in clean energy at scale. This was truly a global presentation, but to bring it closer to home, our money matters as well. where we invest and taking intentionality in terms of where you bank is arguably one of the most impactful personal climate actions you can take. Thanks so much.
RMI is doing so much fantastic work. Thanks for joining, Marie. That was awesome. I want to notice the connection between kind of the bathtub and the first talk from Freya, where we're trying to change systems that are really big and really old, and we're kind of trying to fill the bathtub as quickly as possible. So, for example, in solar, the analysis of seeing how much coal and how much nuclear and how much natural gas there is, solar is now probably 50% fraction of new utility scale additions. Storage has gotten up to about 17, 18%, so we're pushing down. Same thing with EVs, is we've got to push all of the vehicles out, and it takes a long time. I wanted to notice, so Miles, where's Miles? Where are you? So Miles and I were talking. Tell people how much you paid for your brand new electric car. How much down? 1,500. Yep. So basically a free car, because you're probably saving 60, 70 bucks a month on gas. So these are the kind of changes that we have to go. So part of this is the soft edges, right? So finance is a soft edge that we don't talk about enough. So